The Ecuadorian Deception is a murder mystery thriller. I began writing it while my wife and I were traveling in Ecuador. The story is born out of several convictions. The first is that Ecuador is an incredible exotic place. When you use a place as a setting for a really entertaining story, it causes people to say, I want to go there one day. In fact, that has been the response, as I believe my love for the country comes through loud and clear. Second, there is so much untapped history that can be used to form the backdrop for a really rollicking story, especially one that involves lost treasures, secret tunnels, and an international band of antiquities thieves. Finally, I really couldn't help but write the story. It literally came to me in a dream. I read that Bob Dylan once said that he'd never written a song in his life, that they were just out there on the ethereal highway hitching a ride into town, and that he was lucky enough to stop and pick a few of them up. Well, that's largely how I feel about the writing of the Ecuadorian Deception. The plot involves George DeHout. He's an American website designer who's contacted out of the blue by an Ecuadorian businessman. He offers George $50,000 for 2 weeks' work. Well, George immediately assumes it's some sort of a scam and he writes the whole thing off. But a few days later, a $5,000 retainer arrives in the mail along with a round-trip airline ticket to Guayaquil, Ecuador. Well, George really wants the job and says to his wife, hey, it is a round-trip airline ticket. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, if it doesn't work out, I'll get on a plane and come back home. When George arrives in Guayaquil, he finds that the prospective employer is dead. He also finds that he's the chief suspect. Now George is on the run in a country where he doesn't speak the language, doesn't know whom he can trust, and doesn't fully understand that he's become a pawn in an international plot to steal a priceless treasure hidden beneath the colonial city of Cuenca. I'm really proud of this book, and I believe that people will be thoroughly entertained. In fact, one person who was reading it said he started it on a flight from the United States to Rome. He said that when he got to Rome, he was touring the Vatican and found himself wondering what's going to happen next to George. Well, when he wrote me, I said, hey, you're in Rome for heaven's sakes. Focus on the Vatican. George will wait. But I think that's a testimonial as to the entertainment value of the Ecuadorian Deception.